Welcome back to Spirit Square. I'm Andrew Darrington, your host. Tonight we're at home at the Beckham Hotel in Mineola, Texas. So glad to be here at the ballroom with a huge smattering of audience members. Thank you so much for coming. We first want to thank our sponsor. Dang, I lost my words there. We've got Rex Consulting, Josh and Sonia. Thank you so much for supporting us. We've got Thomas and Martha Red. We've got Boot Collar Package Store. You've been down there. Pretty nice place. They do a great job. Much better than the package stores. We've got the Vault, Humidor, Blake and Virginia Young. Thank you so much for seeing our vision, understanding what we want to do, and supporting us. By you guys' efforts, we've been able to travel. We've been able to upgrade our equipment. We've been able to do some things that weren't necessarily able to do here in East Texas. And you guys saw the vision. Thank you so much for supporting us. So we're here at the Beckham, and we've got a podcast favorite, Shannon Hood, here tonight. Yes, episode 2, now episode 38. And you've got a new line of whiskey that you're now representing. And you're a bourbon steward, right? Yes. Executive bourbon steward. You're a sommelier of whiskey.
Level 3.
Yep. Level 3. Yeah. You brought the big stuff here. Yes, for sure. And you're also the proud owner of Poorly Educated, which is a local company that does all kinds of good things. We're going to dig into that a little bit later in the show, but so we know what's new. I mean, you've now gone to level 3, which is awesome.
I've even added an additional pin on there, Edinburgh Whiskey Academy, Scotland.
Okay.
Got my Irish whiskey certification. The pin attached to my medal there, that's actually a sensory workshop kind of certification that I did through that as well.
Awesome. And you've made us a nice pour to start the night. So talk to us a little bit about, right, so all the audience and myself and you included have gotten a pour to start things. And we're setting the bar pretty high here to start things. Talk to us a little bit about what we have in our cup here.
So what we have is a special edition of Ironroot Harbinger. Harbinger is a standard offering from Ironroots, but this year being their 10-year anniversary, all year long there were special releases put out. This was the very first one, February, March of this past year, and it is a cigar blend.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Traditionally, most cigar blends for people in the whiskey world, those are finished bourbons, generally pork, cherry, cognac, things that kind of enhance the flavor of a bourbon to maybe have those cigar type flavors, also that they pair well with cigars. We were actually the first one to release an unfinished cigar. So this was 13 very special barrels that were picked from the Rick House, either because they offered notes, speedo notes from some of the barrels, a little bit of barrel number 1, that's actually a Texas bourbon. They all just had something special to offer that when they were blended together.
A lot of toast. Yeah, for sure. A lot of toast to it. So, as we get to enjoy this, let's talk a little bit about the distillery. You have 2 brothers that are kind of from crazy ends of the earth. That one's a lawyer, one's an engineer, and they just, in 2011, they're just like, hey, they're finishing school, right?
Yes, Robert was actually had just finished law school. We'll kind of backtrack just a little.
Okay.
About a year prior to that, family had been on family reunion up in Washington State. And while on this family reunion, happened to stop and visit a distillery for dry, as they were, on this tour. The brothers said, "Okay, this is what we can do." And we were like, now we'll fast forward to this Denver, where Robert upon completing law school. At this dinner, announced to the family, "I really don't want to be a lawyer. Not in a practice." The mother of the family, Marcia, the matriarch, is very quiet and sort of stern. The dad kind of break the tension, said, "So what are you going to do, open that distillery?" And Robert said, "You know what? I think that's what we're going to do." Older Roman Sonnet was not going to be letting out of this, so said, "I'll quit my engineering job," and we started.
Wow.
Took, a few years. They had some friends at Balcones and some other distilleries.
Right.
Also started training with some famous cognac distillers.
Yeah, traveled around for a year to 2 years, right?
Traveled around. Mom sort of helped travel around. Thought we're going to make bourbon. We better go see what this is about. Went to Kentucky with the intention of hitting a lot of big distilleries on Bourbon Trail. And then got some advice, don't go to the big boys. You're not going to be able to produce like that.
Yeah.
So go visit some crafts.
Yeah, for sure.
While they were there, actually happened to stop in Midtown Copper Brass Works, a company that makes a majority of distilleries here in America. This tour, at the end of the tour, signed what they thought was a guest, like a guest book. Like, "Hey, thanks for stopping by, we're detectives." Fast forward a couple of years later when they were actually trying to open the distillery, and trying to reach out to still making companies and finding out with 2, 3, 4 year wait list. I was thinking, we can't wait that long.
Right.
It happened to Paul Vidal. Was talking to somebody on the phone, they were talking about the wait test, and was, "Let me take your name." He said, "Well, I'm Robert Whitbread." And there was a pause again in the phone. And the guy said, pulled out that guest book, which was actually a waiting list to have his still paid. He said, "Y'all are actually like next on the list for us to call to say we're ready to start discussing projects." So sort of fortuitous.
Yeah, for sure.
Score inside the guest book and ended up being so had to still pretty quickly get that.
Right. So walk us through Ironroot's kind of a unique name, and I'm sure that's something that they kind of looked at early on. And so walk us through kind of how they got to that.
So they, unbeknownst to them, they were going to settle in Denison, which when they got there was going to just another one of those fortuitous things.
Yeah.
But actually, they learning to the skill of cognac makers.
Right.
Denison, the reason they actually ended up settling in Texas, Jonathan, the engineer, was married, had some young children.
Yeah.
His wife said, "Well, if you're quitting your job or we're doing this, we're at least going to do it in Texas, where she was from, or her family."
Yeah, have some support. Yeah.
So, travel around a lot of small towns in Texas are still dry. Want alcohol made there.
Yeah.
But Denison was actually very welcoming. Offered some good things to offer them if they settled there. And that town of Denison actually ends up being sister cities with cognac.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that tie back to where they got their distilling roots from. And that tie Denison cognac is actually in the late 1800s. The French wine, really the whole European wine industry was in a pandemic.
Right.
So there was a plague of phloxera, which is like a small fungus that were attacking the grapevines. and wiping them out. A gentleman from Denison, Texas, TV Monthly, was a viticulturalist, studying grapes. He's actually trying to get some good tasting grapes to grow in Texas, not having much luck. But through some sort of experimentation, found that he grafted European grapes onto the Texas Ironroot grapes. It made them resistant to that disease.
Right.
So essentially saved the whole French and European wine.
And this was in the late 1800s. Right. How did he communicate that?
Yeah.
Telegraph or something? Yeah. I mean,
it's ironic because that disease actually got over there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Shipping goods.
Actually ended up solving the whole problem.
Right.
So yeah, he was awarded a very high medal from the French Army.
Right. Him and Thomas Edison, or maybe it was Benjamin Franklin, were the only two to ever awarded that medal. Yeah, that's how high.
Still a real big tide
Sure.
in France.
Sure.
Higher ups, visit other cities all the time.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of limestone that are similar as far as the surface and stuff like that is what I read compared to France. Yeah.
Actually a huge limestone shelf that runs through all three.
Yeah, it was literally iron root or a root from the vine that he was shipping over to them to see. Yes, correct. Yeah, which is pretty cool. And so they kind of earmarked their distillery as Iron Root, built in Denison. It's kind of a stalwart for him because he was so diligent. He wrote many books. He wrote a lot of different works for the government, and just his dedication and how firm he was about how how strong the roots were in the wine business in that area. And he also did a lot of work in the hill country too. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Grapes grow that would produce great wine.
Yeah. So between 2011 and 2014, the guys are working on distilling and barreling and, kind of playing chemist. And what are some things that they do maybe differently than what they do in Kentucky, or maybe some other things that they do differently than other Texas distilleries?
When they came back from the trek in France, a sort of very French piece of advice they were given was, wherever you settle, distill what comes from there. So what grows right there? Corn.
Right.
Rye doesn't grow that right there, but corn grows a plenty. So they knew that they were going to have a base of
right.
Pulling from that cognac distillation style, they do use a pot still versus polished still, which is more traditional in Kentucky. When it's to a more grape forward, oilier spirit, which to a great feel. But also not just choosing to go with yellow dick, to 99%.
Right.
And actually distill over 53 different types of corn grains.
Right.
The kind of core that they've settled on, using a lot of Ironroot cores. Of course, we are predominantly elegant, but heavy off Bloody Butcher core.
Right.
There's that core. Purple core. We'll call it Hooligan because they are hobby farmers within like a 60-mile radius grow these. So if they're growing it Denison, it's not really important.
Right.
And another one, which is a red flint bouillon, a corn that is less sweet, has more of almost like a cayenne pepper spice to it for mimics the rye grain.
Okay.
So for music, use different core in place of like rye or wheat as well.
Yeah, I noticed the majority of their offerings have multiple corn offerings, which is pretty unique.
It is, and so you also typically like at Nashville, if it's on straight Nashville,
Yeah, right.
they will do a yellow jet corn distillation. It will be barrel. They will do a version that's yellow jet when you butcher it.
Right.
That gets barrel. They will do another one that's yellow jet. That gets barrel. So they get barreled and aged separately, and then blended together at the end to make fun.
Before we get into their offerings, which is pretty massive compared to a lot of the other distilleries in Texas, let's talk about the opening. So they opened in 2014. Was it an exciting opening? Was it something that was
Old boat dealership in Denison.
Okay.
It was very small, a small tasting room. Funny starting out, but when they got their big now, they all bring up the 100% corn whiskey, not bourbon corn whiskey. Hubris is what it's titled. And Roberts of the Johnson. They did up to a very big competition, a World Whiskey Award, which is sponsored by the magazine, also the European version of this whiskey magazine. What's kind of different about their competition is in the end there is one. It is not like some of these others where 10 people win double gold.
right?
It's now to there's American winner, European winner. Now we'll compare those two to each other, and there is a
Definitive.
world winner.
Yeah.
Hubris ended up winning best sport with Steve. So
Before they even opened.
not very bad that Robert did that behind his back. Yeah. So that kind of got their name out.
Yeah.
For a few more years later, Harbinger, the offering Harbinger 2021 Best Bourbon in the World. First time a non-Kentucky distillery took that. So that
That was in the.
very high.
Yeah, that's 2020 was like. 2020 is when you started seeing a lot of consumption. We had COVID kind of ramping up, and a lot of people wanted to just stay at home. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, before we get started anything else, we're gonna have a quick break, so that way we can pour another sample for our audience. And so cool. All right. Well, after this, we'll talk a little bit about the offerings for Ironroot. Cool. All right.
Sure.
Hey, podcast listeners, are you in need of some top-notch libations to elevate your next gathering? Look no further than Hoot and Holler Liquor Store in Gun Barrel City, your go-to liquor store for quality drinks. From smooth bourbons to crisp wines and everything in between, Hoot and Holler has one of the largest and most diverse selections in East Texas. Planning a special occasion? Let our experts guide you to the perfect bottle. You'll receive excellent customer service not offered in the big box chains. Visit Hoot and Holler today and let the good times flow.
Last minute. Yeah. I knew you liked that. Yeah. A little older stuff. Yeah. All right. So, hey, now, no, I'm not going to let you know what I like. It's not country. Oh, I mean, I like country, okay, but prefer some other genre. I grew up in Louisiana, so you can guess. So let's talk about some of the offerings for Ironroot. We've already kind of touched on Hubris, and we've talked a little bit about Harbinger, which is kind of the flagship.
He's a flagship, yeah. I like to call it brunch, and also introduce the other words, kind of.
Right. But before we get started, let's talk about what the audience and us are having a pour of.
What we have the pour of is from our Saints Alley line, which I've talked more in depth. It's alive to be strictly for total wine. Like, that has changed in the future, but for now, it's a total wine, please. And all are victors before of the Eucharist Nobleman, which is a rye pitched in sweet wine, like Topai has.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this one back in March, best rye whiskey in America.
And our favorite here at the Beckham. Here at the Beckham. Choo Choo. Love it. Feels like home.
Yeah, so just one best rye whiskey in America. When it went on to the world push that, picked out a one, which not their rye whiskey. Yeah,
Interesting.
second in the world, first. Yeah.
Can't wait.
107 proof.
Which is the whiskey, the light group, right?
Yes. And so the rye whiskey in here is a blend of rye redistill, which is going to be like the low percentage rye, cooked very legal rye, blended with some Indiana
Interesting.
sourced rye,
Yeah.
and then finished 6 months to a year in those total.
Yeah. It's got a lot of depth on it.
It does. Beautiful rye whiskey.
Yeah.
A
lot of flavors going around there.
But I love pitch drop.
Yeah, for me, yes.
I think that sweet wine, he takes the edge off that rye whiskey. When I try to taste people on this, like, you'll like this.
Yeah, it's a sweet rye. Yeah.
Rye whiskey fan, you still know you're drinking rye.
Right.
Got a little dessert.
Most ryes that I taste, it's a lot of grain. It's a lot of the rye that's forward. This one's more barrel influence, I think. And where you taste more of the barrel, and it kind of marries each other together a lot better than other ones that I've tasted. Just those are the facts. So. Right. Oh yeah. Or Dickel, right? Yeah. Well, we won't go there. Okay. So we talked about Hubris. We talked about Harbinger, which is the flagship. We talked about a little bit about Promethean.
Dark red. Sort of the opposite mash build. RV360.
Yeah.
Whereas Promethean is that dark, more the red points.
Mm-hmm.
Like a rye, full of bourbon. I call it the dark design. Herb is brunch because it's maple, vanilla, caramel,
When Harbinger's a little bit warmer, but yeah.
but a lot of people think that it drinks less.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That specific form.
Gotcha.
Make it seem a little hotter.
So let's circle back to sleight of hand because that's kind of like the daily drinker, right? So that's going to be the one that's most cost effective, right? On the shelf.
Yeah, so sleight of hand is brand new.
Okay.
Valley, which is where the nobleman is in line with.
Yeah.
Where the total wine, exclusive. Those are all good. Our bourbon.
MGP mostly. Okay.
The Saints out.
Okay. So you want to talk about St. Sally first? About the different offerings? Okay.
So Pacific Alley, the way about was they purchased with Christian.
Yep. Yep.
Massive was collection of big liquor. He approached them and he had connections to get right now. He brought Texas, let them age a little more in Texas. And it shows the finished barrels for all of them. Favorite Saint Sally is going to be this is Forts. Oh yeah, past sure. Hollywood, sir. The Herald skip Arbican.
Right.
And they have the rock.
You have a white and a regular port in there.
Special edition. So St. Sally Port Cognac has a special edition with the white port instead of on port. The Herald Arcanac also has a special edition, which is Arcanac.
Right. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I love the St. Sally. I mean, I remember you got me my first bottle of it, and I was blown away by just dynamic flavor, huge amount of flavor, without it being just overpowering. There's just a lot of different flavors.
And I love since the inception of it, especially all the Port Cognac and Armagnac is, you'll see numbers written on the label, and that is what backs per.
Okay.
So
Cool.
goal is for every batch to be a little bit better than the one before.
Cool.
Ports and cognac, we're just released batch 10. It is
Oh,
phenomenal. Batch 14 of the Armagnac. That's been one of my favorites.
Are you an Arcanac fan?
I have been. I didn't know a lot about Armagnac.
Yeah.
After that, but just because I love back spirits of the finish on that one. And then I know the story of remodeling it over pop props.
Oh, okay.
The finish on that one, it just dances on your tongue. Just like if you pop props, you know, they'll sit there and bubble it down. That's
Cool. So you want to circle back to the slide again? Yes. Which is new, right? Yeah.
Spider-Man bourbon actually at stores this past week. And the bourbon, it is a nod to TV Mutton for the petition. Not that she outweighed the great roots to save wine industry, but also how blending and marrying cats together is also like a magical work. Yeah, you could have 5 barrels of all thoughtful spirits and blend them together. It's also going to be phenomenal. It just doesn't work that way. But yeah, Daily Drinker coming in at 92 proof, which is considerably low proof for us.
Right. 40s. The 40s, right?
Never had anything below 100 proof. But a fun little Easter egg for the label. The edition has 3 cards. It's closely. The cards on stick. That is going to let you know where all those girls came from to make this look. Texas will always be there. It could be our for hot soul bourbon. For this first batch, one state is.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Distillery is.
Yeah.
Can't disclose the point.
Yeah.
Tell what we are getting. One of them can I'm right. That's sit rod permit.
Okay.
The other one is the.
Okay.
But it is beautiful. Blended things sometimes get a bad rap.
Yeah.
Additionally, that comes from people talk about whiskey like it's cobalt girl. It's got
Yeah.
when all different.
Do you find that blends kind of maybe taste a little younger, or that it complicates kind of the barrel influence?
What component of your blend are?
Yeah.
Complicated doesn't mean that somebody's trying to hide the young whiskey.
Yeah.
Blends are confusing, especially for 5 years.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. So we've got bourbon, we have rye.
We have a rye. That 96% rye.
What's out in Mineola right now?
Is that right?
Right. And these guys have a great price point too. Well, or they will, in the case of rye.
So, bourbon, $35 to $40.
Yeah, very attractive price point. Yeah.
Traditionally, our offerings are
80-ish.
Six Alley is 60 to 70.
Okay.
Rupture is 55, 60.
Okay.
Rover.
Okay. Great.
Pick up. Daily Drinker, we're looking to get a lot of these
The 40-ish. Yeah.
Yep, the rye. It's 3 state components. And then the our Texas rye, Indiana, also.
Okay, cool.
It's funny because they show labels and you're looking at states of being born and bred in Texas. You know, we grew up. Texas is quite safe. And everybody else is square, right? But no, so you have the state with the states.
Right.
And then there's the brandy as well, right?
Yeah, actually, it's brandy was the very first offering to come out.
Okay.
That was not to Cognac, the Denison, the sister cities. Actually, that is the very first thing they sold at the facility was brandy. So we had a 10-year-old brandy. The 10-year-old Texas brandy batch 1 is then blended with some Cognac. Batch 3, that same blend, added in 20-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And it's high frequency.
Nice. I like it. Very good. Okay, so we've got a couple other spirits to talk about. Let's talk about the gin.
Gin. I'm not a big expert.
Okay. Well, I mean, they do some cool stuff with the gin. They take some stuff from the actual grounds and put it into, they make their vodka, right? And then,
Actually, a different sort of approach to vodka.
Yeah.
Their vodka has a mouthfeel. It is velvety.
they add wheat to it, which is unique. Kind of thinking of, not necessarily a page out of, but Lone Elm is one of those distilleries that does wheated vodka, which it's a shame that they're kind of where they're at. But when I read that about this vodka, I was instantly attracted because if you've never had wheated vodka, you're missing out because it is very, very good, silky, like kind of a soft flavor to it.
And I always compare it to like velvet.
Yeah. Yeah. So they use that as a base, and then you build on that. And then, of course, the juniper is like automatic. And then, yeah, and then grapefruit.
More citrus forward.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to check my notes here. So, pecan, that was one of the things that stood out to me. Ginger and pecan that they put in the gin. So, I've never tasted their gin, but I'm like I'll have one or two, especially during spring or summer, of their gin in general. And I love the Still Austin gin. They make it, selling? Okay, cool. And we talked. I was about to say Carpenter's Bluff Moonshine.
only product still in the original packaging for Ironroot, almost like a coffin shape of.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like a tequila shaped bottle. It's like flat and just kind of like you carry it as a flask. Yeah.
On face of shelf.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But at this point, still offered it.
Right. And it was named after an area in Denison that they did moonshine. Yeah, Carpenter's Bluff, which was a bridge. I think there.
Guarding the northern border.
Right. Anything else that we need to know about the author? Any special releases on the way, or
special releases?
Okay.
Best way I could stay it more to just go for the website.
Yeah.
Be clever, a bit big first now. Especially this year with the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Culminated in November.
Right.
After Starland, we have a trio of single barrels that released all in 375.
Oh, really? Okay.
Same single barrel. One of them was called Burnt Ends.
Ooh.
Actually, Texas Bourbon Society, a local group.
Yeah.
In May of 2018, we did a weekend trip there for their weekend distillers meeting. And what was distilling that weekend while we were there went into the barrel and became burnt.
Ends.
Yeah, and I kid you not, it tastes like broccoli. Another in that trio was
Sure you weren't Waco?
Captain Jack Sparrow, which has tons of brown quality to it.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Third in that week's left Violet Boulevard.
Okay.
Tons of blueberry Monday flavor coming out. Those did not last long.
Okay. Do we have anything else coming in the next couple of months that you can tell us? Okay. Okay. Because we've already done a couple, like the Nobleman, we've already done that. You've got Sleight of Hand, which is not even on the market yet, which is pretty cool to have it here tonight.
Early quarter of first quarter of 2025, Esoteric, which is a special release we do once a year at Distillery only. It changes from year to year. It might be some fabulous finished expression of something.
Yeah.
But this 2025, it will be our first weeded bourbon.
Oh, nice. Everybody loves a good weeding. Yeah. Any ideas of? Yeah, that's what I was like, okay, what kind of proof are we talking about here? 100, 115, 120? Yeah.
Sometimes those are up in the 117.
Yeah, for sure.
Some single barrel harvesters have been
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. All right. Hey, let's take a break. And then after we come back, we'll talk about Poorly Educated. Cool with that? Yes, for sure. Or bike. One of here.
The Humidor is your online cigar retailing headquarters. Our experienced staff has spent years finding some of the best cigars from around the world to sell to our customers. If you're looking for an online cigar store that can help you find your next favorite smoke, welcome to the Humidor. We began the Humidor because of our deep appreciation of the finer things in life, a good conversation with friends, an aged whiskey, and, of course, a fine smoke. That's why, in addition to selling premium cigars online, we also operate a brick-and-mortar cigar lounge in Tyler, Texas. Our lounge is crafted to provide a classic ambience with modern sensibilities, and we've spent time ensuring that smokers and non-smokers have an enjoyable experience, whether they're there for a drink with friends or to enjoy the game.
Are you looking to optimize your drilling rig operations and maximize productivity? Look no further. Rex Consulting is here to power your drilling. With over 20 years of industry experience, our expert team provides tailored solutions that drive efficiency, safety, and profitability. From site assessments to cutting-edge technology integration, Rex Consulting is your trusted partner for land-based and offshore oil and gas drilling solutions. Ready to take your rig to the next level? Contact Rex Consulting today and send your operations to the next level in operational performance. Contact Josh Simmons at 918-637-9181. Rex Consulting, level up.
Vault Arms is your premier destination for all things firearms. Extensive selection of handguns, rifles, shotguns, and accessories. Knowledgeable staff to assist you in finding the perfect firearm to fit your needs. State-of-the-art gun range equipped with the latest technology for a safe and thrilling shooting experience. Take advantage of our professional shooting instruction and training programs suitable for all skill levels. Host your next group outing, corporate event, or bachelor party at our spacious and secure shooting facility. Committed to promoting responsible gun ownership and firearm safety. Fully licensed and compliant with all state and federal regulations.
All right. We're back with Shannon Hood. Thank you.
Yes.
And so let's talk about Poorly Educated. That is a business that you founded and that you're very passionate about. Talk to us a little bit about what you do with Poorly Educated.
When people ask me what it is, I just sort of describe it as a whiskey education business.
Poorly educated.
Like we're pouring
Yes.
a pour of bourbon or whiskey.
Spelled a little uniquely.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I love a good pun.
Yeah, for sure.
Through Poorly Educated, I do offer like some certifications, like the Bourbon Steward certification.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I also offer just a lot of fun fight classes, experiences, a spirited experience, another pun.
Right. What kind of range do you have? Like, I know you cover DFW a little bit here and there, and it's East Texas, obviously, but is there...
Poorly Educated is very mobile.
Okay.
I will go anywhere.
Okay. And so it's mostly you collaborating with someone who wants to put an event together.
Yes.
And kind of get a basis of what they're looking for, whether it be a live experience, maybe an experience where they're looking at, maybe they have friends that really like Blanton's. And they're like, okay, well, let's see how much you can taste
Yes, I have a
Blanton's.
fun experience called So You Think
So you think you know? Yeah. We'll package up 4 spirits and let's see if you can guess what Blanton's.
And I generally try to make them similar mash bills,
Yeah.
similar proof,
Yeah.
but not to shed a bad light on Blanton's,
Yeah.
but just to show that there are some other very affordable options that are available to you if you are not able to find Blanton's.
Right. And then you have, one of my favorites is the bottom shelf blinds, where you're tasting things that are priced at $30 or less and seeing which ones you like the best. And typically, there's some eye-opening experiences there. Oh, Granddad is one. Evan Williams is another one. Yeah. So, I mean, there's fun things that you do there, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can concentrate on a specific distillery. I've done some classes in the past at the Humidor,
Right.
where it was follow me down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
And we tasted through every sort of spirit expression that Rabbit Hole Distillery offers.
Okay. I love Rabbit Hole.
Yeah.
Very cool distillery to visit. It's one of the first ones that's open in Kentucky if you like to get there early and get started early.
Get started early.
I think it's the first one that's open at like 10:30 in the morning. And they have some cool catwalks there. And they have a great bar staff too. Very attentive. And it's a very clean atmosphere too.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
All set to be, not hiding anything, all very open about exactly what they're doing.
Right. So when somebody approaches you about an event, what are some of the things that you ask or look for that you're trying to figure out, like what they're trying to achieve?
Yeah, a lot of people will come up and ask price point first.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you on price point, the cheapest thing I've done and the most expensive thing I've done. And I'm sure you're gonna fall somewhere in between those two.
Yeah.
We have to talk about what is your expectation, what spirits are you looking to have there. So price is a little trickier, but it's kind of narrowing down what exactly you're looking for. I've done things like for a large hospital group in Tyler last year, their Christmas party. Really my guidelines were, we just want to have a whiskey room where, like a speakeasy. So I just brought all manner of things and, have at it, But yeah, so it's kind of narrowing down what you're looking for. I just recently did a surprise 40th birthday for a gentleman. So basically, I knew that some of them were whiskey experts, so we did a quick Bourbon 101 for the rest in the room who were not.
For sure. How to smell it, taste it.
Then I brought some special pours. The gentleman was born in 1984, which Blanton's was born in 1984. So I brought several versions of Blanton's for them to taste through. Yeah.
What are some things that you do as far as pairing your bourbons? You do chocolates.
I love chocolates and cheeses pairing with bourbons, especially different cheeses because some of the oilier textures and stuff are really going to change.
I've been through a couple of your samplings where you've had both.
Yes.
You've had, or popcorn, caramelized or regular or whatever, and it's crazy how much that influences your palate for that spirit. It really, really drives it a different direction. And
I actually did one where I made y'all wear blindfolds.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, you did. You did. You're like, hey, left hand is sweet, right hand is sultry, I think, or something like that.
Those are some great pictures.
100%. Yeah. Especially when you're like trying to get it out of your teeth or whatever. Yeah, for sure. So those are offerings that are same thing. Like, you can provide that. What do you? Is there a consistent theme that you see, or is it just all erratic? Is it something that
it's all over the place? I mean, some are private, in-home events for 5 couples. I've done very large corporate events.
For sure.
I've done a lot of large corporate virtual classes. Okay. So if you're a large company, out of state, people do still like doing virtual tastings, even though we've come off that side of COVID, and we can get out. But virtual tastings are still a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I was in the tasting world for a little bit. That's how this whole thing started with the Beckham and doing tastings right here in this ballroom. And during COVID, it was just awesome. Like, I have rows of folks, and then once COVID kind of subsided, and everybody got back to the full-time volleyball, full-time cheerleading, baseball, and all that good stuff. I had good friends like Mr. Simmons over there, and others that were just like, hey, I think this is a good avenue for you. You like to talk, and you're interested in a lot of different things, and so I'm glad that it's doing well for you. So last night you had a big event with someone that you've partnered with quite a bit. That's the Plaid Rabbit, which is in downtown Tyler, behind what used to be the ETX Culture ETX. Sorry, I always Lance. So sorry if you listen to this. I jack it up all the time. Now it's Heritage, so I'm jacking it up 3 times over. But Lance, who's been on the show, the episodes before, great guy. In the back of his restaurant, he has a speakeasy. You've done a couple of events there. Talk to me a little bit about the event last night, and then maybe some of the planning that you have for 2025.
Yeah, so it originally kind of started as I approached him to maybe do something quarterly for his membership, for the speakeasy membership. If it didn't sell out to the membership, you could open it up to the public. And like the very first one we did was heavily Ironroot focused. I was able to bring in products from them. Last night, for the end of the year, or the final event of the year, I brought back Ironroot, and we focused mainly on the sleight of hand, since it's just being introduced to the market. But we talked a lot about the myths of blending and blended products. So it's a happy hour. There's some food. There's some sort of educational component behind it. I really just like to talk about whiskey, so any chance I have to do that. But it's fun because they were always ended up being on Wednesday night, so I started calling it our whiskey church sessions.
Right.
Because everybody else in East Texas is at church on Wednesdays, so we're at our own special church.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're definitely looking to continue those. They're not always bourbon focused.
Right.
I've partnered a couple of times with Amanda from
Maverick.
We've
Amanda
got tequila, a tequila version. We did a rum focused another night.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
they're not always whiskey focused. A majority of them will be, but you can learn all those same things like about barreling and different spirits with other spirits in the industry as well.
Yeah, I did the same thing here.
I mean, we had blind rum, we had blind. One of my favorites was the Irish whiskey. I love Irish whiskey.
I do too.
It's especially high proof. It's so good. So what's new for Poorly Educated in 2025? Do you have anything planned?
Yes.
Okay.
Going to be ramping things up a little bit. Of course, planning more events at the Humidor.
Hey, all right. Poorly Educated with the smoke.
Something that went over very well here this holiday season. The Bourbon Babes is an offshoot from East Texas Whiskey Club.
Yeah.
But I love Advent calendars.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that.
A particular group that usually does an Advent calendar was not doing it this year, and I have a lot of bottles sitting at home, and I thought to myself, why don't I put together
You felt the vacuum.
calendar?
There was a vacuum
Fill
there.
the void.
Right.
And I reached out to these Bourbon Babes and said, who would be interested?
Yeah.
And so
I wish I was a bourbon babe. I wasn't.
had several of them express interest, and then they ended up buying one also for their significant other, so they could go through these Advent calendars together. It was a beautiful presentation, a beautiful wooden box that had 26 pours because we need double on Christmas Day. It was a 1 ounce sample. You got to pull your bottle, and I included a little card in an envelope that you opened up.
And isn't it convenient that 26 ends up being full bottle, right?
Well, they were all all different. But the little cards on the back had places, for you to make your notes.
Sure.
I asked the question, would you drink it daily? Would you buy this? All very nice pours that this one was focused on bourbons and ryes, but it was all things that I found this year that I really loved, and wanted to share that with some. That garnered such attention when they started posting about that 100% next year, that will be a full-time offering that I offer people.
I think you better prepare for 3 times over.
Yes.
At least 3 times over.
At one point, when we were texting about this Advent calendar, my phone auto-corrected that to adventurous calendar. And I was like, So that put me on this path of, I will be starting kind of like a subscription service, but you don't have to subscribe. It will be like a quarterly offering where I have a blind box. There might be a theme. It'll include 4 to 5 different whiskeys, but I will send you the blind box. Your first box will include like a blacked out Glencairn, so everything is completely blind.
Okay.
The sample
I love
bottles will be blacked out, so you can't really judge color until you get through the whole tasting experience. And then there will be like a Zoom get together, you know, like after everybody's had a chance to go through their box and taste, we'll then convene on a Zoom and talk about what you got. So
Right.
that will be something that I'm offering. Lots more, you know, events at Plaid Rabbit. I'm hoping to partner with a few other businesses. In the past, I've done some. There's an establishment in Kilgore that lets me do themed dinners where I can bring everything in. Yeah, humidor, more events there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, those events have been very fun, enjoyable. And I've never been to one at the Plaid Rabbit. I'm sure it's freaking fun. Last night I had to take a breather because we had a humidor, which was very, very fun. And then I knew we were going to have a good time tonight. So I missed that, but I've heard nothing but good things about those events. Is there, so you know, other than the Advent calendar and maybe some irons in the fire at some other places, anything new that newly or poorly educated is going to try, do, things that you've thought about doing, or is it just kind of, let's go?
I'm getting some more certifications under my belt.
Okay.
Branching out, not just bourbon certification. I've already done WSET level 1. I'll be doing WSET level 2. Looking to get Scotch certification under my belt. I'm going to make a trip to Scotland to actually do that certification.
Okay.
But yeah, all of that is just going to add to, you know, more knowledge that I can pass on, a wider offering of things. I would like to, a couple of times next year, lead a trip down to the whiskey marketing school in Austin where I do my certification, because I can take people into the whiskey vaults, lead tastings in the whiskey vaults. So a lot of fun experiences like that.
So I'm going to ask you something that we did not cover, and then we'll talk about any shout-outs that you have. So something that's super hot in the whiskey world right now is the blendery. And so have you been there, and what are your thoughts about what those guys are doing out there? And can it be duplicated in Texas?
Well, they are in Texas.
Well, can it be duplicated? Another blendery.
Another blendery.
What I'm hinting at is, could there be one in East Texas?
I don't see why not.
I don't either.
I mean, I think there's a lot of room in all areas for establishments like that, because, you know, they can offer things, but those things are limited. So yes, I think that business model is actually something kind of fun, and especially if you're someone who has been in the whiskey world for a while, it's something out of the norm. Gives a lot of chance for experimentation.
Right.
So yeah, I love all the kind of blending competitions that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, that leads to some incredible blends, something that would never have come to fruition if they had not existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's not some of the Kentucky snobbiness out of it.
100%.
The whole thing, like, hey, the barrels are already here, so we're going to blend them how we want them, and then guess what? We're going to drink them how we want them. It's kind of the way I look at it, is we're going to blend them, we're going to do it our way, and, you know, yeah, there's going to be some that are going to be okay, and there's going to be some that are really good, and there's going to be some that are just like, they're going to sell out immediately.
Yeah.
I love it. I love everything they're doing out there. I think they're great guys too. And I think that it's something that could be duplicated in East Texas for those that want to try it. It could happen. I think there's some great spots in East Texas that could house that type of business, and there's a big portfolio there. I think that's
There is, yeah.
untapped. All right, so let's talk about some shout outs. You had shout outs last time. I didn't watch the shout outs. I think you did shout out to some of the ladies that were in the whiskey, because we talked a little bit about like your position in the whiskey world, because there's not a lot of ladies that are in the whiskey business that are as decorated as you are, that are as aggressive at getting certifications, and sometimes that you guys kind of get lost. You ladies get lost in kind of the order of things, and we talked a little bit about how sampling and all that good stuff. So I think you recognized a couple of the ladies that were within your bubble or your influence that had kind of touched you and given you kind of some.
I'm pretty sure I shouted out Mary Ann E.
Oh, 100%. You did.
I'll shout out to her again.
Yeah, for sure.
She's remained a great friend.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of fun things coming through the new year for people to look forward to. Jackie's ICANN, even though she's not with Old Forester, continues to, do great things. I think there should be a time when the topic is not what's it like to be a woman in whiskey, because if you look around, they are there, they're prominent, they've always been there since the beginning of time. We were the ones distilling, y'all were out hunting and gathering.
Right.
And I think that people know, that is something people know. A shout out to my friend Stacy Pritchard, who is the second half of who runs the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. She has been phenomenal in allowing me to be a part of that, including me in that every year. I've made phenomenal connections from working that festival every year.
Cool. It was great having you on.
Shout out my grandmother, who
yes.
God rest her soul, but that's how I, got into whiskey in the first place. So.
And she, remind me what she drank.
She was a Jim Beam.
Jim Beam, that's right.
Every night would make herself a highball.
Yes.
Which in my adult life I learned when I ordered a highball, she was not drinking a highball, she was drinking straight Jim Beam.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Remember that. It's awesome to have you on.
Thank you so much.
30 plus episodes later, it's been awesome. You obviously have a great company that you're working for now, and extra certifications. Obviously it's great watching you kind of progress and do what you do. I've kind of taken a seat back in the whiskey realm because of this, because I'm learning about Botox and fillers and all that. That was last week. It was so awesome and so great. I learned about all RSR and all this other good stuff, and I've got a full slate next year of good things. But this is our last podcast that we've got until next year. It's been an awesome 2024. Like, we've gone anywhere and everywhere, from just great entrepreneurs to folks like yourself that are in the spirit world. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. I love having a live audience. It's great to share the moment with folks, especially the sponsors. But
we've grown this podcast quite a bit.
And I've grown. We were downstairs.
Yeah, I know. We were in the cigar lounge, and there was like 3 of us.
And it was
Like, all right, well,
and you know, there's a ton more people looking and watching and all that good stuff, and the feedback has been great. And
Yeah, so anyone that wants poorly educated to work with in any way, I'm available.
well, definitely. Hey, look, once we post this weekend, we'll definitely put your URL.
we'll attach it to the post, and then of course attach all of our followers. So
Just really appreciate
you sharing with our
audience, and then obviously coming on the second time. You're
you know, obviously a very popular guest for us.
And we've done a couple reels that have had over 2,000 views, so you're an awesome person in the community, so really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate it.
And so we're going to start out
Next year, we're going to have someone in the community that's really suffered a big loss, but they also run their own business. So
looking forward to having them on.
we'll talk a little bit more. We'll post on the podcast page about their story and all that good stuff to give them a good collaborative start on that podcast. So see you guys soon. Thanks so much. All right.